Let's maul in the Central Committee. Let's cringe in the Central Committee. Let's bog in the Central Committee right now.
Yeah, let's change the title. Bernie Biden bending the knee to Bernie? That's the way we're going to interpret this. Biden bending the knee to Bernie. This is the new talking point. Apparently, Biden is channeling his inner Bernie. Oh.
Here's a political fact emerging in these first 70 days of the Biden presidency. Joe Biden's begun his presidency on a more liberal footing than the last two Democratic presidents, which makes this the most progressive start to any presidency in the past 40 years. Biden's now pushing for a cumulative $4 trillion in total spending there in his first 100 days, getting a liberal boost from this news that Senate Democrats can bypass McConnell's obstruction for party line votes on this new infrastructure bill. Liberals are encouraged. Conservatives are aghast. And many Democrats who know Joe Biden are struck by how he's evolving in this role and in this tough time for the nation, a contrast to a Senate career where he was, by his own words, a centrist or even conservative Democrat on many different issues.
More cops, more prisons, more physical protection for the people. We have predators on our streets. You must take back the streets.
Congress gives President Bush what he wants in the showdown with Saddam Hussein by a vote of 77-23.
We say, yes, Mr. President, you have that power to go to war.
When I argued that we should freeze federal spending, I meant Social Security as well.
Where was it? Wait a minute. Where the
Medicaid.
fuck was this video during the primary, motherfucker? Where was this video during the primary, motherfucker? You buried these clips during the primary, motherfuck. You son of a bitch.
He meant Medicare and Medicaid. He meant Iraq. He meant clean up the streets with that tough and controversial crime bill. Now, that was then, in Joe Biden's long Senate career. And then we know recently that party that he's in seemed to sort of split two presidential cycles in a row between the more establishment centrist choice and a progressive one. First, it was Clinton versus Sanders, and then it was Biden versus Sanders. At this time a year ago, Sanders had not yet endorsed Biden,
Ace,
and
you
they've
got
been
me.
engaging in months of respectful but vigorous
Aaron, thanks for
policy
the tier
debate.
1.
Joe has voted for terrible trade agreements.
I don't know that there's any trade agreement that the senator would ever think made any sense.
Joe and I have a fundamental disagreement here. Okay, Chef.
What a bad faith fucking comment. God, Biden is such a little rat. I don't think there's any trade agreement. Oh, because your trade agreements that all preference corporations fucking over workers and polluting our environment. Therefore, we're all against all trade? Fuck you. No, we're not. We just don't want our American corporations going to the third world and exploiting people in sweatshops. You piece of shit. Fuck you. God damn it, Biden. You suck.
I haven't noticed. Obviously, the Paris Accord is useful, but it doesn't go anywhere. If you're laughing, Joe, then you're missing the point. This is an existential crisis.
Bernie was right, is what they say, after Bernie has been successfully fucked over.
Later, Biden's governing from the core and base of the Democratic Party, the progressive base, pushing the liberal plans I just mentioned, spending that outstrips anything from the early days of the Obama-Biden administration, pushing higher taxes on the wealthy and on corporations, and Joe Biden taking sides with labor more than he did in past decades or than past Democratic presidents. He's pushing the new multi-trillion-dollar plan with major planks for jobs, racial justice, and addressing climate change. Now, whether it's correlation or causation, Biden at times can sound a bit like the new Bernie.
We need a lot more, and that's true for the other 49 states. China is building high-speed rail all over the place. We are not.
We have to improve our infrastructure. China and other countries are eating our lunch.
Is Biden simply revealing his own values now that he has this power? Or is he channeling Sanders? An Obama campaign veteran and beat guest, Che Komanduri, says it shows the new era of progressive politics that's much closer to Bernie Sanders' vision of radically distributing America's wealth downwards. And that doesn't mean Biden has gone full Democratic socialist. Sanders himself wants more direct climate action in that new Biden bill. And Biden has not been with liberals on a larger plan to wipe out student debt up to $50,000 or go to the mat fully on minimum wage in the Senate. But as Komanduri argues, and as some liberals have been arguing for years. The Democratic Party's base is fundamentally progressive on economic justice. And that base, with its coalition, is larger than the MAGA movement. And the new president, Biden, increasingly sound like he gets that, which means he sounds more like the party's...
Welcome to leftism. What I've been arguing for literally 2 years is now being accepted as conventional wisdom on MSNBC. And where are all the motherfuckers who doubted it? Are they going to come around and go, oh, well, looks like Mike was right. Biden bending the knee to Bernie? That's the way we're going to interpret this, chat. Biden bending the knee to Bernie. This is the new talking point.
Progressives than, say, Joe Biden from the 90s.
Come on, keep going.
CEOs make millions and millions of dollars, but don't ask us to pay more in taxes.
When a multinational corporation that builds a factory abroad, brings it home and sells it, they pay nothing at all.
If elected president of the United States, we're going to do everything that we can to rebuild the trade union movement.
I'm a union guy. I support unions. Unions built the middle class. It's about time they start to get a piece of the action.
That brings us to the deep dive political conversations we do around here on a special day.
Little Zippa, thank you.
We call Che Day, with political strategist Che Komanduri, who's worked on 3 presidential campaigns, and to whom we are indebted for some of those points that we just explored. Good to have you back, sir.
Thank you for having me, Ari.
People know it's Che Day from the music and the cartoon. As mentioned,
now. That's very cool.
Yeah, you see an overlap here between these two people. Explain.
Yeah, I mean, look, when the campaign last year, the Biden campaign, was saying that Biden was going to pattern himself after FDR and LBJ, to be honest, I just thought it was campaign spin. I thought they were just putting that out there to get disaffected progressives more on board with Biden. After all, Biden, as you pointed out, is an institutionalist. He is a centrist Democratic senator who did represent the credit card industry and the banks quite ably in the U.S. Senate when he was a senator from Delaware. So, of course, I never...
Every single thing we've been saying about Biden is just accepted conventional wisdom on MSNBC. And it said, like, very offhandedly, like, oh, all of us know he was the credit card company's guy. Literally consent manufactured in front of our eyes. The mainstream media are successfully taking one of the most centrist, moderate, bipartisan neo-lib shills from Congress and reshaping his image to be progressive.
Thought that he would be the next FDR or the next LBJ. However, here we are, and we have historic investments in the working class, in children. I mean, think about the fact that we're going to cut child poverty in half as a result of this stimulus.
Child poverty in half for 1 year, dipshit. They didn't make it permanent. They passed one law. Can I just stop us all for a second here? They've passed one law. They've actually passed 2, but the first law was to create a special exception so they could appoint a general to the Secretary of State. And the second law was the stimulus package for COVID. That's it. They passed one fucking law. Can we stop? Can we stop? Stuff passed out of the House. A lot of really good stuff passed out of the House. If we were a parliamentary system, this would be fucking amazing. We'd have a $15 minimum wage. We would have passed the PRO Act. We would have passed all this shit, okay? But that's not what happened, okay? We have HR 1 still sitting in the Senate. PRO Act still sitting in the Senate. Bill after bill after bill is just sitting there rotting in the Senate right now. So can we stop?
We're having an investment in the K-12 system and children's schools and child care and child health care as a result of what Biden is doing with the stimulus and with infrastructure. How do we get here? There's really 2 reasons. One is that Biden, who is not the doddering sort of old man that Fox makes him out to be, is actually proving himself to be a very agile and acute observer of politics. He understands where the country is.
He's agile by just starting to go left. If Joe Biden is agile, Bernie Sanders the motherfucking Legolas, okay? And by the way, we have proof of that. Look at how fleet of foot he is. Look at this. When you're fucking 85, you gonna be jogging? Look at this motherfucker. Look at this motherfucker. He's fucking Legolas out there. All right, let's keep going.
Been where it's going, and how the Obama-Clinton sort of pathway didn't really work for the Democratic Party very well. The second, I would say, is Bernie Sanders. I think it's very fair to say that Bernie Sanders is one of the most consequential losers in presidential history. In politics, sometimes you can win by losing. And I think in many ways, Bernie has done that. His campaign, and I would put it on a very short list, I would put it with Howard Dean's 2004 campaign, which revolutionized the internet and grassroots fundraising, and Barry Goldwater's campaign, most importantly. And I think that's the best example of where Bernie Sanders' campaign sort of is going to end up historically looking. Barry Goldwater lost the battle in the 60s, but he ended up winning the war by the 1980s. Bernie Sanders, in a much quicker timeline, appears to have done exactly the same thing.
So what do you guys think about that narrative? The idea that Bernie Sanders is the left's Goldwater, that Bernie Sanders is the one who won. What do you think about that? What do you think about that narrative? It's also funny that the mainstream media are comparing Biden to FDR when FDR got more done in his first 4 terms than Carter, Clinton, Obama, and Biden have all their terms combined. Obviously. Well, first of all, let me just say this. We are 60, 70 days into the term. We're not out of time by any means, but we need to start seeing some more laws signed in. Okay, like it usually takes between like 100 and like 180 days to get a real full idea of how much stuff is going to get done. And Biden right now has done one thing. He's done a bunch of executive orders and shit. But as far as like laws that have passed, they've passed one law.
As an analyst of politics and someone who's worked in it, how do you differ between whether Biden...
This is my attitude, chat. This is my attitude to that. Quote from Man Stabbed. What are you gonna do? Stab me? That's my
Biden
attitude.
is channeling Bernie, or Biden is channeling where most Democrats are after everything we've been through as a country.
I think it's a combination. Well, I think it's a combination of the two. I think Biden saw that what President Clinton did and what President Obama did, which is that they viewed corporations, and they wanted to work cooperatively with corporations. They didn't view corporations necessarily as the enemy. They wanted to work cooperatively with them to get better outcomes for workers. Bernie, because quite frankly, he was never a mainstream Democrat, he actually wasn't a Democrat at all, he actually quite clearly saw the corporations are in the business of making money. And no matter what they say about helping people, they really aren't about creating better outcomes for their workers. They're about improving their own bottom line.
I can't believe that actually has to be said out loud. Holy shit, dude.
I think Bernie very clearly saw that. I think Biden recognizes that Bernie was probably right about that. Hence the corporate tax increases. Hence the discussions now about very large tax increases on the rich and the upper class in the United States. I think that's a factor. The second thing I would say about Bernie that's kind of important to keep in mind is if you look at historically, there was a presidential candidate by the name of Norman Thomas, who was a socialist candidate, ran 5 times for the American presidency. And he was once asked at the end of his life in the 1960s, what was the greatest accomplishment of his career? And he said, the intellectual theft of all my ideas by the Democratic Party. I think you can say very much the same thing about Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, that's like most of the New Deal stuff originally
Republican
started
Congressman
out.
Matt Gaetz continues to struggle with
mostly started out as Socialist Party programs, you know, retirements and all that kind of stuff. I can tell you this, like one of the things I like about Biden is if he pulls an LBJ where he goes in there and goes, haha, I was a centrist, but now I'm going to try to do things that people will love me for, like Medicare. Then I don't give a shit about his past. We do politics here every morning starting at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. You can watch us here on Twitch. We're the morning guy, the morning politics guy, Politics Frogs in every single day, same time, 10 a.m., day in, day out. And we carry you through your morning and early afternoon politics needs. And if you need more, Mike from PA, we have a YouTube channel. We talked about suburbs, the My Pillow guy, Ted Cruz. We talked about DSA. Amazing. Making fun of Tim Pool. Amazing. Look at all of these amazing videos. Get in there, watch them. We have me on Twitter. You got to follow me on Twitter, chat. I'm at 20,614 subs. That means I got like 40 followers on Twitter in the last day. You can do better than that. You can do better than that. Go follow us on Twitter. And of course, join the Discord, where we have an incredible community of left-wing streamers. We have left-wing community. We talk about the stream. We talk about politics. There's gaming content. It's a really awesome, supportive place. Direct action, mutual aid, and you can just let off some steam. And also, you can help produce the show. One of the things I do is I look at the links that are put into and use content suggestions chat room on the Discord. Join the Discord, come hang out, and maybe what you want me to talk about will be part of the next show.